Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Jars of Madness. I'm Mark from jazzguitarists.net, and in videos like this one, what I like to do is have jars with random informations in which I pick and then solo and comp or give you instructions on how we can modify our perspective on whatever we're working on. So this process is pretty interesting, and in today's video, here's the rundown. There's 3 jars that I made, and the first one has a root note, so that's a pretty easy one. It's like which one of the 12 notes of the chromatic scale we're going to pick. Then we're going to say this is a root of a chord. The second jar is the chord quality. All right, so there's major and minor chord qualities, and then there's dominant, but there's also the diminished 7, the minor 7 flat 5, and for dominance, there's plain 7s. So, you know, a good old dominant chord. And then there's the ones with the flat 9 and stuff that I've been more specific about. And then the third jar, hope you're well seated or fasten your seatbelt, is a scale degree. Meaning it will tell me I'm on a F sharp, hopefully not, F sharp minor 7 chord, and it's the 9th that's getting targeted. So what I'm going to do is build a line into that 9th and build a chord progression and exercise around that. All right, you ready? Let's get going. All right, round 1. Let's pick our key center. What are we working with today? We're working with F sharp. It's almost like a prophecy. Okay, secondly, the second jar is picking the chord quality. What are we working with today? We're working with dominant 7, flat 13, flat 9. Okay, so I'll give you more information before we get started with this one. And now let's pick our degree. Where do we want to land our line? What are we working with as far as degrees? I put the 3rd, the 5th, the 9th, the 11th, the 13th. So there's no root and there's no 7th, and that's going to get clear as we move on. So we have the 9th. Look at that. So it's going to be the flat 9 of an F sharp 7, flat 13, flat 9. Now a bit of background. So we have an F sharp 7, that's a dominant chord, with a flat 9. That's going to be a target note, so it's a, we could say it's a G natural actually, instead of a G sharp. It's G natural flat 9. Flat 13 in this case would be a D natural. So that's the chord we're looking at, and that's our target note. Now where do we play this chord? Well, my suggestion to get started with my backing track will be to have a minor 2-5 in the key of B minor. The 3 chords are as follows: C sharp minor 7, flat 5, followed by F sharp, flat 9, flat 13, followed by a B minor. Let me set this up in iReal and see how we can use that note to get into the line. Before I start the backing track, let's just have that note in our ears. It's that note, so it's a flat 9 of our F sharp. You could also play it here. Sharp 9, flat 9, and then we're going to resolve to a B. So my aim will be to resolve, to really have that note really ring in our ears and emphasize it throughout and resolve it properly. You ready? Let's get going. 2, 3... Last time. Now a bit of background about that F sharp note. It's like it came fast, right? I picked from the jar, go F sharp, dominant 7, flat 9, flat 13, and then I want to target the 9th. Well, actually the flat 9, where does that chord come from? So I'll give you a bit of a mini lesson, which could be also another YouTube like pro tips lesson. F sharp 7, flat 13, flat 5 is the 5, so the V, Roman 5, of B harmonic minor, right? Pretty much the same way as if we were in B major, B, right? Just regular B major. You go to the 5, and you're like, oh, this is F sharp mixolydian. I know this. It's like a major scale with a flat 7. So it's the 5th mode of major. So the 5th mode of harmonic minor has this thing that is a mixolydian with a flat 2 and a flat 6, or a flat 9 and a flat 13, which is the same nomenclature, but just up an octave, right? So that's how I was like going, oh, if we get this dominant chord, well, I'm going to set it up so it's a 5 chord in a 2-5 progression, but not any 2-5, a 2-5 with a 1 that is minor, so hence a minor 2-5-1. This mixolydian equivalent in minor is extremely powerful, so I'll just encourage you to look at it from the perspective of if you want to go back to your G. G is the 5 of C major, right? So we're like, oh, G mixolydian, I know this one. So all we need to do to make that into harmonic minor of C of destination, we just go G, A flat, B, C, D, E flat, F. So we get an E flat and an A flat. So your mixo becomes mixo flat 2 flat 6. And people say, oh, it's the Spanish scale, it's like, it's very Middle Eastern, whatever. Yeah, it's that. It's fifth mode minor harmonic, and it gives you, well, we say that in French, harmonique minor, minor harmonic. It gives you a bunch of flavor for free. We don't even need the altered scale or like diminished stuff or a whole tone. We just need to look into what's the destination. I'm going to make this harmonic minor. All right, round 2. I'm going to pick again. What's going to be our root? So I put back the F sharp in there. I hope I don't pick it again, but whatever, it's in there. If it has to happen, it has to happen. A flat. Oh God. Now for our chord quality. I did not put back our chord quality of dominant 7, flat 13, flat 9 because it's a pretty intense one. So I'm going to pick something else here. Ah, major sharp 11. Interesting. That makes for a great little discussion. And now we're going to look into which scale degree do I want to land on. Do I want to land on the 3rd, the 5th, the 9th, the 11th, the 13th? There's no root, there's no 7th. I already told you about this. And we have the 5th. Ah, interesting. So just to recap, we have an A flat major 7 sharp 11. So it's a Lydian sort of chord. And we're going to land and target the 5th of that chord. So let's get going. Okay, we got to give that A flat major 7 sharp 11 some context. So what we like to do is we call sharp 11 the Lydian mode, and the Lydian mode is the mode that lives on the 4th degree of the major scale. Hence, if my A flat is 4, then I can go 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Basically, I'm saying, well, the parent scale is E flat major. And I chose a context that's pretty well known. Interestingly, it's the bar number 13 of All the Things You Are, and to give A flat. So All the Things You Are starts with an F minor chord. First note is A flat. You are da 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 da, right? Da, 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 da. So what's interesting, we say the second part, so the B section starts with C minor, F minor, B dominant, E flat. So E flat is major, it's a 1, so it's a 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. So we have the potential of having this this 5th note targeted, although we know it's a Lydian. So Lydian means that the 4th is raised, really, right? So it's a D flat becomes a D natural. So what I'm going to do is improvise on the first, say 8 bars of the A flat or F minor, All the Things You Are, and in the bar number 13, I'm going to be targeting that note. It's an E flat note, which is a natural 5th, but also I'm going to sew in hints of the fact that this is modally an A flat Lydian that's just happening in that bar. All right, let's get going. 2, 4. Watch out. Good. Repeat from the top. Okay, perhaps it wasn't as clear because this is exactly where we were going. If you were following along with me, I'll start from earlier. So the bar 9, a bit before the A flat. So bar 9, where we get C minor 7, da, 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 da. That's our target note. So it's the 5th of an A flat Lydian chord. So let me just improvise these few bars, starting with the C minor. Ready? 1, 2, go through. So this is going from the C minor into the A flat. So it's just having this target note is in a broader sense like this. So instead of our first round just doing a 2-5 and okay, we're done with it, now we have a target of a note. And what would be interesting is, what if, you know, in the privacy of my own practice room, what I could do is have another target note for the bar before, another target note for the bar after, saying, how am I getting into that and what scale materials am I coming? So this is a great way to expose more materials and more ways to use vocabularies during improv rather than the typical approach, which is, I learned this arpeggio, let me plug and play this arpeggio, let me plug and play the scale or the slick, whatever. It's like, well, how does it relate to the rest of the stuff when I put this right there, that this is the target I want to do? Okay, for round 3, let's pick our root. So which root note do we have and what crazy context are we going to get? So I want that paper. It's an A natural. Now, chord quality. Diminished 7. Oh no! Yikes. So we have an A diminished 7. And this renders the rest of this pretty obsolete, going, well, do we want to target the 11th? Okay. So we want to target the 11th of an A diminished 7th. Okay, let's do this one really short and sweet. So the A diminished 7 is this chord. This is a really chord grip, so it's a cool one. So 5, 0, 4, 5, 4. I recommend using the partial bar on the index. And since this chord is built of the root, the third, the flat 7, and the flat flats, the flat 5, and the flat flat 7. So root, flat 7, flat 5, flat flat 7. The 11th is here, and the scale would be. Getting that right? I hope so. So the 11th is not actually necessarily called an 11th because this scale has 8 notes instead of 7. So what I will say is our 11th is the approach note into the flat 5 of the A diminished 7. Yeah, that's why I cringe. I'm like, oh no, diminished 7, wow. The functions don't really work. So here's what I'm going to do. There's several ways to use the diminished 7. One way is as a passing chord. That would be like, you know, you've heard so this passing diminished, Duke Ellington style, okay? So it's a rising diminished 7. There's another way of doing it, say we were just doing all the things we are. 4 bars to the end, you have a B natural diminished chord, and that one is between the chord 3 in the key and the chord 2, because the key is A flat major, so 3, flat 3. So between 3 and 2, it's good to have these passing diminished chords. It's pretty, I call it yellow, it's pretty old style. It's really corny, but it's really interesting when you're harmonizing for a larger band. So what I want to do to simplify the things with our A diminished 7 and that 11 target, I'm going to consider it a raising going to a B flat major. So the context is as follows, is the A diminished is actually acting like a dominant into a B flat 6. Okay? So if I want to use that note, it's like I've already resolved the third of the B flat major. Think about it, the D natural is the third of the B flat that's coming, and our A diminished 7 is actually a substitute for F, which would be the real 5. So our F chord, then we're going to B flat, so 2, 5, 1 in B flat major, C minor 7, F7, I'm going to B flat, so instead of a F, I'm going to do an A diminished 7. Here's why. Right, that's the sort of the convention of using first inversion dominant chords, if you will. So F to A, the A diminished 7 contains the same notes as the F7 flat 9, if you will. So I'm going to use that as a resolution that's already been established. So I'm going to do 2, A diminished 7 going back to 1, so 2, 7, 1, if you will, which is sort of an odd progression. And the target line is to have that note in the diminished already resolved. Reminds us of a bit of what happens in Stella by Starlight for some reason. Okay, you ready? So let's just do a little line and do it rubato, no pressure. Maybe I should have found a better context. I don't really like that one personally. It's not going anywhere because it's like the 11th of the diminished 7. It's already like given us what we need to work on. All right, guys, thanks for watching your episode of Jars Madness. One quick favor. So if you'd like to have more topics explored in the jars, so topics I could shuffle and just pick through, and or comp or improvise or standards, please let me know in the comments, okay? Because I'm really willing to experiment and see how I can expand my horizons as far as learning music, and also how I can provide you with more tools. And there's nothing better that I think off the cuff. It just came by surprise and then we built something around it. So please do that. Please like and subscribe to this channel. There's plenty more free stuff and lessons and songs and arpeggios and chord melody on jazzguitarlessons.net/blog. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.